I'm going to get to the so that's the killing. We're going to get to killing in a second. So everything that we said about trapping animals, is about trapping them. But what about letting them go, right? We've seen in most of the halachot that we've said that what you're not allowed to do, you're also not allowed to undo, right? If you're not allowed to write, you're not allowed to erase. If you're not allowed to tie, you're not allowed to untie. If you're not allowed to sew, you're not allowed to rip apart, right? So we saw those types of halachot up until now. When it comes to trapping, there's no such other end, right? In other words, if I have an animal in a trap, there's no rule against letting the animal out, right? So let's say there's a bird trapped in my home, right? I can open the window and let the animal out, right? Not a problem. So letting animals out are okay. Okay. Now we're going to talk about not just trapping the animals. Sometimes we want to kill the animal for whatever reason, step on it, squash it, or something of that nature, poison it. We're going to get to all that. So Shmona Shtatzim Hamurim Batorah Hatzidan Hayav. He says there's 8 different rodents in the Torah listed specifically, actually in 2 weeks ago's parasha. If you trap them, you're Hayav. If you damage them, you're Chayav. If you hurt them, even if you don't kill them. Any other animals that are what's called shiratzim, that are bugs, insects, and so on, if it's not on the list, right, then if you damage it, as long as you didn't make it bleed, it's no problem. You haven't violated the halacha. I'm going to go into this. Relax. Asur laharog tzir'az vuvim v'yetushim. He says, so you're not allowed to kill a wasp, a bug, or a mosquito. He says, and killing one of these is similar from a halachic standpoint as killing a camel or a cow or something like that. He says, you have to teach people to be careful about this. He says, especially mosquitoes that are around in the summer. Since they cause a person distress, right? You don't want to get bitten by it. You don't want to get irritated by it. So the mosquito could bother you. Since you kill a mosquito on a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, it says, but on Shabbat, you can't kill the mosquito. When I say can't kill the mosquito, I mean with your hands or with some utensil. But
what if you have a bug light outdoors?
Right. So
and it's
if
on.
you have a bug lighter that's on from before Shabbat and you're not doing anything with it, that's fine. It's not a problem. Look at the next one. The next one says, Mutar l'rases b'Shabbat b'tachshir kotel yetushim b'halal hayder shmetzuyim bo yetushim v'zvuvim v'gormim tzar yoshvim sham. Says also you could have some kind of poison or something like that, a spray, a bug spray, Raid or something like that, and you could even spray it on Shabbat. But you can't spray it on the animal. You have to spray it in the air or in the area around, and then the animal walks on it. So that you're allowed to do. You're not allowed to spray it on the animal and directly kill it. He says, and if you're going to spray it in the air, there should be some kind of open window or something so that the animal could leave. But even if not, then that would be okay.
It almost sounds like it's that's like a trap in a way, but you're not allowed to do a trap.
It is, and you're not, but they do allow you to do this because it's indirect, and so therefore it's not a problem. So if I see I have a lot of ants or something like that, and I don't want them, let's say I'm sitting, you're sitting outside on your table, right, and you want to eat, and if you eat, the ants are going to start coming because there's ants in the area. So you spray a ring around your area to prevent the ants from coming or something like that. That would be allowed. You're allowed to do that.
Okay.
Similarly, he says, you're allowed to put on the spray on your body, right? Like the mosquito spray, the anti-bug spray that you put on you or your clothes, so that based on that smell, that what's going to happen, the mosquito or whatever other animal, the fleas, the ticks, are gonna be repelled from you. You're allowed to do that. The one thing you have to be careful about, and I don't remember if we got to this, I think we did talk about this, is with any kind of sprays that you're going to put on, it has to be something that rubs in, but not something that rubs on. And the difference being, I can rub in a moisturizer or oil if it rubs into my skin, and then it's gone, it's in my skin. But if I am putting a coating on top of my skin, that is a different kind of problem, and that is not allowed to do on Shabbat. So that's why when we talked about cosmetics and things, so to put on chapstick, you can't put on chapstick because that kind of just sits on the top of the layer. But if you have like a sunscreen or a bug spray that rubs in, then that would be allowed. So you have to know, is it rubbing in or not? Okay. He says you're allowed to turn on the sink or flush the toilet or turn on the shower or something like that where there might be some bugs, and the bugs might get actually crushed or whatever, but that's not what you're doing. It's unintentional. It's maybe going to happen, maybe not going to happen. So therefore, it's not a problem. Now, there's a very interesting area of halacha that talks about kinim. Kinim are lice, and from the standpoint of the halacha, the rabbis believed that the lice were created through spontaneous generation, meaning they didn't believe that that lice multiply the way normal animals do. They thought that they come, out of meat or something like that. Most people thought that until I forgot the name of the scientist who figured it out. But basically, that's what they thought. And since they thought that, they said that lice are not regular creatures. They're not regular living creatures, and therefore you're allowed to kill them. And this is codified in the halacha. Now, many rabbis have come along and said, well, now we know that we know that lice are created just like all other creatures. There's no such thing as spontaneous generation. Things don't just get created out of meat. It was there. It was small, microscopic or something, but it was there. So it's a question today is now that we know that lice are not spontaneously generated, may we kill them? And different people have different opinions, but most Sephardic rabbis today still say, even though the reason has changed and therefore it should be forbidden, they allow you to kill them anyway. So if you have lice, or certain things crawling in the air, the rabbis say you're allowed to actually crush them and kill them. So it's an interesting thing because it's anti-scientific, or it's not, I don't want to say anti-scientific, it goes against what we know about science, but it's kind of one of those things that since it was on the books from before, it seems like they are lenient about it. We're not looking to add anything. Any animal that is dangerous, you may kill it, even if it's not dangerous to you. But you're just killing it because it could kill something else or attack someone else or something like that. You're allowed to do it. So if you see a snake or some other creature that you think can cause damage, you can kill that item. What causes it? It has to be a dangerous animal, right? So certainly a snake could be that. A wild dog could be that. I don't know. A scorpion, as we said, and a snake. You don't have to be an expert and know, is it a poisonous snake or not? A snake is a snake. A snake is a dangerous animal. A good question would be, is a rat a dangerous animal or not? You might say so because rats tend to carry disease. So a rat might be something, but a mouse really does not fit into this category because a mouse doesn't really bother anybody, so it doesn't fit in. Last halacha, and then
what about the mosquitoes? Just going back, they could carry bacteria, they could Zika or.
If our concern is that they really are dangerous mosquitoes, then you would be allowed to kill them. But if they're garden variety deal mosquitoes, so you would have to see, or you'd have to know that they have some danger. I think most of the mosquitoes in deal today are not of that type. But if you're going to the Amazon or something, then it might be more interesting. Another area, because of this halacha, which we're not going to have a lot of time, is you can't hurt a human being. You can't bruise or cause a human being to bleed for the same reason, right? So I have to be careful not to get into a fight with someone, not to box. Also, one of the areas that they say is with someone's own child, right? You have to be careful. We don't do this anymore, right? But people used to whack kids, right? If you hit the kid and you bruise him, you hurt him in some way, you've committed a sin on Shabbat, and you shouldn't do that anyway. But you're not allowed to do that extra on Shabbat because of this reason.
Well, that comes from a day and age when it was allowed.
I'm sorry?
That comes from a day and age where it was allowed.
Yeah. We don't do that anyway today. You can't do it on a Tuesday, but that's the piece. Okay, tomorrow we're going to start talking about a different concept, which is the concept of planting seeds and plowing and working in the garden and things like that. That's a big area of halacha, which we'll get into. So we'll start that tomorrow. Anyway, we'll stop here with the class and in the minyan.